cruising down the street in my 6'4".
Just like that, somebody turned off the rain and the sun come out.
I'm your huckleberry.
Hey everybody, you don't know me, but I'm on TV, so you can trust me.
Welcome to the This is Tampa podcast with
Rob.
And I'm Jen, and today we've got a very special guest, the owner of Big Storm Brewing, LJ Govoni.
How you doing, guys?
Hey, thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us
Yeah,
out
thanks
here.
for coming in.
This is like super exciting for me, obviously. If anybody knows me, they know I'm a big beer guy, and craft beer especially. So I'm like super stoked to be here.
Yeah, well, tell us a little
nice.
bit about the brewery here. How did this come about?
Sure.
And where did your vision come from?
Well, so the brewery was founded in 2012 up in Pasco, the West Pasco Industrial Park, a little 2,500 square foot facility. So the room we're in right now, our consumption room, is bigger than our original brewery.
Wow.
When the brewery was started by my former partners, it was a little 3-barrel system. So that's 6 kegs at a time, open flame system. So when it was 100 degrees outside, as we were brewing beers, about 120, 125 degrees. We had mandatory water breaks. You'd pass out. And it was,
Wow.
I wouldn't really consider this OSHA safe, okay, at the time. But as such, as all small businesses, right? That's how you
Right.
start.
Yes.
So a couple years into the business, we grow. We go from a 3-barrel system to a 15-barrel system with equally as wonky issues. It was a Chinese-made system. It's what we could afford. And there's a part that was supposed to be jacketed to insulate you from the heat. You walk past it, you get 3rd-degree burns when it was on. So, we were lucky enough to grow and move out of that facility into what you see behind us. So this is our production facility. It's about 3 years old, 18,000 square feet under this roof. And then we own another 1.5 acres plus to the left, and then we own a couple acres behind us, right? So we've got plans to expand this facility.
Wow.
And so there's a 30-barrel, 4-vessel, fully automated system behind us.
Yeah, I'd say you've come a long way.
Yeah, we're really lucky. We have a great brewing team, of course, very talented, but more importantly, we have a great back office. Equally as importantly, we have a great back office, and we have great customers and fans, right? I mean, this isn't possible without the consumers that come and do this. If they don't drink our product, we don't get to do what we love to do. So.
Right.
So how did you get into this industry? It's such a fun, it seems like very fun. I'm sure it's
Sure.
a lot more work behind the scenes, but
Yeah, so my personal story is a little different than most, right? So most people would tell you they started home brewing. They're fascinated with the process. Maybe they were a chemist or a biologist by school trade. I came in from just the pure business operation side. Now, my passion for brewing great beer is no different than anyone else. I would just tell you, you don't want me making the beer for you. We have a great team that does that. But the brewery, again, when it was started by 2 guys that were college roommates who had a passion for making great beer. And it was also the perfect time of the financial crisis of 2008, right? So after some career changes were forced upon our partners, they said, why not now, right? And so they tell the story better than I ever can. When we first got signed with Pepin Distributing in Hillsborough County, they brewed beer in their garage with J. Paul Pepin, tasted with J. Paul Pepin, and J. Paul said, let's do it. I like this. Let's try it. And the business kind of grew from there. So, it's now it's just a passion of new challenges every day, right? We always say it's probably the most difficult thing you could do, because we don't get to interact and sell directly with our customer. We have to have a mandatory partner in between, and they always have conflicts and issues, and so it's for us, our desire and passion now is just the complexity of what we do on a daily basis.
Well, it sounds like having the right partners played a big part in being this successul.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without my former and current partners, the Big Storm is not where it is today. There's no question about that. I think you're going to see a lot of breweries around Tampa Bay, Florida, the country that are going to start experiencing some issues because they don't have partners.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, right? So, I always advise someone when they want to start a brewery, well, what of the 3 things are you going to do? Are you going to make the beer? Are you going to sell the beer? Are you going to run the business? I'm not saying there isn't Superman out there, or Superwoman out there that can't do it all.
Yeah.
But, I just haven't found that person yet. And so, unfortunately, a lot of people in Tampa or Florida or the nation that don't have a good team, they're doing it all. In 3 or 4 years of this, that's a grind, So that's one of the things you're going to see happen in 2020.
It's important to have the right partners
It
in
is.
business to be successful, especially for the long run.
Sure.
yeah.
But so, where did you come up with the name Big Storm?
Oh, well, I don't get any credit for that.
You don't know?
No. The founder, Mike gets all the credit. So Mike tells a story. He's from Buffalo. Moves down from Buffalo to Florida when he's 12 years old. Starts going to school down here with his family, right? And the first thing he noticed in Florida were the big storms in the summer. And so in his mind, there's nothing more Florida, especially more Tampa Bay, than our big storms. And then obviously, right, I don't think we get credit for being this smart. We were just this lucky. But then the natural extensions of, the Tampa Bay Lightning is storm related, the Tampa Bay Arena team storm related. All those things that I think really personify a summer night in Tampa Bay.
Right. And we're here in the Clearwater location.
That's right.
I know you have a couple other locations. Can you tell us more about those?
Yeah, so we still have a facility in Pasco. We've moved to run the other side of the industrial park from where we started. We're now in 8,000 square feet. We have a big deal. It's primarily a tasting room. That used to be the home of our small batch facility. But since the rise of our sour production program, we've now inoculated the entire facility to just be a sour production facility. So one of the beers on your rod here, Rob, is a hurricane party. It's our watermelon cherry sour. I'm sorry. Came from Pasco, and so that's all we're gonna make up there. Our wild yeast, wild ales. And sour beers. Production facilities in Clearwater, and then Cape Coral is now our new small batch facility. It's a little 7-barrel system, much smaller tasting room, but it's got a production purpose for us, right? We need to fill these taps behind you, and I can't do those in 30-barrel batches every time from behind us. So we have a place it's a 7-barrel system, making those beers that 80% of the types of beer that we make, or the beers we make throughout the year, come from Cape Coral and Pasco. Wow. 80% of the volume, though, ends up coming from the beers we end up making here.
Right.
Oh my gosh,
well, yeah, you can see
crazy.
that you got the bats for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys will have to watch our video of a tour through the facilities here. It's amazing what you have going on. So are they just brewing beer all day long back there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're brewing, almost every day. We're brewing at least once a day. Sometimes it's twice a day. We're getting to the point where we'll start brewing 3 times a day here, which is pretty cool. The reason we do that is some efficiency in the yeast propagation and the yeast utilization, converting those sugars and starches into alcohols, right? And then we're canning every other day, maybe some weeks more, some weeks less, right? But we try to run the canning consistently with the size of cans we're going to run. So unlike most people, we have use 12-ounce cans. We're almost primarily in 16s. Nice. As we start to make the switch, because the time over, change of parts, change of materials, aligning the system. If we're going to go do anything in 12s, we try to run as much in 12s as we can, right? So that schedule kind of varies.
So, cool. I'm wondering, how far is your reach regionally?
Sure. So, we are not statewide, and that is somewhat by design, somewhat just by happenstance of the Miller Coors and the Bud Network and how realignment and distribution laws are. At one point in time, we were statewide, and we asked for our rights back from a lot of distributors that were ordering 6 kegs every other month. Well, it's just not cost effective to get that size to them, right? So, we always say to people, as we grow as a business, we want to be with distributors that understand what we're trying to do and want to work with us. It's not so much I want to be with someone who wants to be with me, as it is more about business alignment and like-minded business sense. So, we're all Tampa Bay. We always say it's from Orlando southwest to Naples. We're in the Anheuser-Busch network. From Jupiter south to the Keys, we're in the Miller Coors network. We don't have anything in Jacksonville. We're working on that. We're from Tallahassee west, right? We're at the AB network, but we have out-of-state distribution. Okay. So we're in most of New Jersey, Southwest Ohio, Northeast North Carolina. I think Michigan may be happening all of Michigan may be happening in Q1. And we're a couple of days away from announcing statewide distribution in Texas. Man, so again, it's finding the like-minded partners, right? I will gladly skip over parts of the country, even parts of the state, if we can't find a partner that wants to do the things we want to do, especially in a like-minded way, right? A commitment to quality, customer service.
So all of that is that beer that's being distributed, like up north.
Yep.
Is produced here in this facility?
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're working on cruise ships and some export stuff, right? But all that's going to come from what you see behind us here.
That's awesome. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the different flavors you have. I know you've got something with kumquats in it.
Sure. Yeah.
I see a key lime one.
Right. So, our flagship beer has historically been Wavemaker Amber Ale.
Okay.
And great beer. I always tell people it's a real shame we don't live in North Carolina, right? Because it's 95 degrees out. It's a great beer, but it's still 95 degrees out. Right. What we've seen in the last 18 months are really the rise of 2 beers are Tropic Pressure, which is a golden ale brewed with hibiscus and cinnamon, and Key Lime Shandy. those are what we're really finding our stride is in what is Florida, right? So even locally, there's probably some cynicism a few years ago of, are you craft or not if you're doing X, Y, and Z?
Right.
Well, okay, I guess what's your perspective, right? But even the local consumer is gravitating back towards what the out-of-state consumer wants from us,
right.
Which is really liquid Florida, right? So our newest beer going into distribution, which has just been unstoppable, we're so excited, is Bromosa. So it's a IPA with tangerine in there, right? So it's a really juicy 7.7% beer that sneaks up on you. It doesn't feel 7.7, doesn't taste 7.7.
7.7. Well,
yeah,
that's the bro part.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So no, we're really excited. You guys may know our Oktoberfest won Best Beer in Florida a few years ago.
Wow.
So we just got through the Oktoberfest season, and Dunder and Blixen's our Christmas ale. Again, we got a couple more weeks of that to run. And then we're back into this spring set of fruited light beers. We've always made beer, to be consumed by the masses, not by the hophead or the craft beer snob. We've always tried to make our beers a little more sessionable than most. Just from a general business sense, I never understood the standpoint of a 9.5% or a 10%. IPA, something out of style guideline number one. But two, how many of those can you really have? I mean, you're going to sell one or two of them.
Like a Dogfish Head, like 90 minute.
90 minute, yeah. You're not having 5 of those, right? You're not having 4 of those.
Well,
right?
if you are,
right.
You're waking up where you didn't start.
That's right. That's right.
Waking up somewhere.
That's right.
Oh my
That's right.
gosh.
Yeah, we want to make beers that are sessionable, right? And the general idea is, beer is communal. Beer is intended to be enjoyed with other people, right?
Yeah.
And so, we want these beers you can have more than one with your friends. Equally as much, we want you to have one by yourself, but no, you're not opening a 25-ounce bomber bottle, and you got to finish it all, or it's going to go bad, right?
Yeah,
so
that's so cool.
Do you offer that, like
we have
growlers and stuff?
Oh yeah, we do crowlers, growlers. We have bombers. We're probably switching away in 2020 from the standard bomber format, which is the 750 milliliter bottle, to 12 or 13 ounce glass bottles, like long neck glass bottles. Because again, we make a beer. Lie to me, our chocolate cherry imperial stout around Valentine's Day.
Oh.
That's a bomber bottle. It's about 11.5, almost 12%. You got to open it. You got to finish it, right? Well, what if you're by yourself? We usually want one, right? So, we're going to start testing some other packaging products. Kind of be a little more innovative. It's nothing really more innovative. It's just coming back to the way it used to be, right? We're getting away from just using bomber bottles for the sake of using bomber bottles.
Well, I think like if you're by yourself on Valentine's, you need to have like a whole different kind of beer anyway.
There you go.
That's where you get them 9%ers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Well, so Lie to Me, you said, Bromosa.
Yeah.
Tell me where these names come from.
Well, I mean, normally it's alcohol-induced, fighting and arguing. Really depends on the beer. I mean, some of these are really well thought out. Some of them, like Bromosa, was, an accident.
I love that.
I mean, it's just bro. Where the story is, Mike and I were having a beer with our wives. We were at brunch with our wives, and they have mimosas, and we ordered a brewed IPA, and we put some OJ in there, and I'm like, bro, you gotta try this, like kind of smart ass, right?
Yeah.
And it was good. And
gosh.
we kind of it had been a play on a thing here. We've been talking for years, wanting to do something like this. So what an obvious name, right?
Yeah.
So it works.
And how long has this been out?
Oh, only a few months, and it's quickly catching up to
there,
some
huh?
of our other beers. Yeah.
That's amazing. And you don't just serve beer here.
No.
You do ice cream,
We do.
coffee.
Yep, coffee.
You're working on some food, I hear.
Oh yeah, so we've since about 6 months after we opened this place, we bought a food truck. Food truck's been servicing all of our food needs here for a little while, and we're quickly outpacing that, right? So it just can't keep up with demand. It's not big enough. Cost effectively, it's not there. We're always prepping all day long. You can't cut enough tomatoes and lettuce to service the day, so you have an employee who's always just cutting tomatoes and lettuce. That doesn't really work. So we're actually building our first on-site full kitchen. We'll move the trailer to another facility.
Wow.
And ice cream is a byproduct for us, right? It is another thing of brand expansion. We do, and then coffee is, just kind of like, it's like brewing beer, really. It's times and temperatures when we roast the beans. So we don't just take bought beans and then, extract them or steep them and can them. Our coffee company really starts from green bean in bags, and we roast, we match, we do what we want ourselves, and then we'll take that and we'll turn it into a liquid.
Honestly, you have everything I need here.
Yeah.
Except for a bed.
Yeah.
So
we can get you one of those.
You can?
Yeah,
All right.
We got enough space next door. I'll build you a rack space.
Perfect. Hey,
There you go.
I'll sleep in the back and
There you
keep
go.
an eye on the eye on the bats and make
Yeah.
sure nobody gets in here and steals your proprietary information.
There you go. Who needs a guard dog?
There
You got me. I'll be your guard dog.
Tester.
Yeah. I'll be
So-
like, bye kids. I'm moving.
Dad's moving to the brewery.
Moving to the Big Storm. Yep.
So, and then I noticed you said, like, for example, the holiday beer is
Yeah.
only for a certain amount of time. Is there like a rhyme or reason as to why certain beers are only available certain times of year? Is it like a temperature thing, or is it
Oh,
just
no,
kind
no,
of
no.
something
I mean,
fun
it's-
you guys do to make it?
It's just the seasonal nature of the liquid, right? I mean, having Oktoberfest in July is it's not Oktoberfest, right? It
Yeah.
just doesn't work there. Now, I think if you like beers and you're lucky enough to find them sometimes at our tap room or others, regardless of when the traditional time to drink the beer is, I know I, for one, would jump on the beer and drink the beer. You still have it, great, let's try it.
Right.
Then the other part is marketing, right? I mean, Dunder in Blixen, again, in February is a little tough to keep selling. It just doesn't work, right? So,
Yeah.
I tell the story about how we had a retailer one time that was upset with our beer, and they were talking about how this beer wasn't really good beer because it wasn't selling. It was sitting on the shelves, and they were talking about like one case that was left in their store, and they were complaining on the first week of January that it was still there.
Wow.
No, well, guys, I get it, right? So, we kind of learned our lesson that on the seasonal nature of beers, if we want the benefit of seasonal marketing, we make them limited and special to get, because, if you get stuck with them, you'll sell them. We'll sell them. They're still good beer. They're great. But it's just, it's the season, right?
Right.
Santa Claus isn't around in the summer either. So.
Right. What would you consider your year-round beer?
Oh, so we have a few, right? So Wavemaker, Tropic Pressure, Arcus IPA, Palm Benders, another IPA. Arcus was our original IPA. It's an IPA with local honey. It's a little different take. Shandy is more than likely going to end up becoming a year-round beer, just the demand for it. And then same thing with Bromosa. So we got 5-6 beers that are available year-round.
Nice.
We have some beers that we call them the seasonal core. So, they'll go in that core pricing. They're just not available at certain times of the year. So Oats and Hose being one of them. It's our oatmeal stout.
Funny.
We it's really a fall, it's a half a year beer. No one's
I
drinking
can drink
oatmeal.
it anytime. me.
It's interesting. In the tap room, we get so many people from the Midwest that come down. And it's just different, regional styles of
Right. brewing.
They'll come down it's August, July, and they're asking for where are our dark beers. Specifically, really in Pinellas more than anywhere else. So, like Oats and Hose will almost always be here in Pinellas. We'll always have something like
Well,
it.
I think that would work opposite too for people coming from the north
Right.
in the winter that are looking to go to the beach.
Yep.
It's only 60 degrees. We
Sure.
won't go to the beach.
Right.
Like I know I wouldn't. But they're going to the beach, so they want something beachy. I think this is going to be huge
Yeah, of course.
around spring break time.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
Bromosa.
Definitely.
Any of these,
Yeah.
they're looking for that whole tropical experience,
Yep.
even though it's cold out.
Yeah.
Right.
So when people come here, they can do like a tasting. They can just kind of hang out at the bar.
Yeah, so
Do
look,
they
you
do
can come in.
tours,
Exactly,
or-
all the above, right?
Okay.
So, we have a full service alcohol bar here, right? So that's all. We have spirits as well.
Okay.
You can order a flight, you can order a pint, you can order a half pint, you can order smaller sizes. Very rarely do our beers only come in one size. We have scheduled tours, but 9 times out of 10, if you show up and you just want to go in the back, one of us, and for free, we'll bring you back there. It's not uncommon.
cool.
So, yeah, I mean, we try to keep it a little more scheduled, especially now that we're really starting to get busy here.
Yeah.
It's just really a safety issue first and foremost. But no, I mean, look, again, none of this is possible without our consumers, right? So if your consumer's here and we got the time, we're going to take them to the back, regardless of whether it's tour schedule or not.
That's awesome.
Get their food. We do barbecue here on Friday. We got a
Ooh.
smoker outside. We have a good barbecue chef. Gerald's
smelled it
great.
when I
Yeah,
came
he's
out. Oh, man.
a great pit master, not barbecue chef. I'm sorry. And it's experiential first and foremost. I think the different. Why would you come here versus any other bar to buy our product? It's just a different experience. You know?
Right.
Well, I know your staff is very hospitable.
Yeah.
As soon as
Yeah.
I walked in, they're hi.
So
everything.
friendly.
Yeah,
They're
very
amazing.
friendly and
Oh, that's good to hear.
yeah, it's inviting.
It's important to all of
place,
us,
yeah.
right? Everyone that works here is customer centric.
Yeah, that's good. Good way to be.
Yeah.
Because that's
So,
what makes
sorry, go ahead. Well, I was going to ask about, I know you do something with Habitat for Humanity.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you don't mind telling us a little bit about
No,
that.
sure. So ourselves and I think it was like 14 other breweries all built all brewed beer. Tap Handle's name was the beer the house that beer built. And we all proceeds went to Habitat to specifically fund a house, one singular house that went to a young woman and her family. And we were super excited to participate. We donated more money than we really were asked to because we were just so moved by this woman and her family, and how hard of a worker she was and what she was willing to do to really make a difference for her and her young children. And then yesterday we went out and actually built parts of the house ourselves.
Wow.
So I apologize to the family. There's one of the closets they might want to go check the level, the levelness of the shelves. But the big objective was no one got mad at each other. No one put a hammer through a nail through their hand with a nail gun.
That's always good.
Yeah. So everything else is. I'm sure there was a guy later on going behind us fixing.
So nobody was, partaking.
Oh no,
drinking.
That's not a good mix.
Power tools and alcohol
liability issue.
Yeah, I don't think Habitat would have encouraged that, but no, they're great. And they're we learned a lot about Habitat yesterday. I didn't realize how many homes Habitat builds specifically in Pinellas County and Pasco County. The Pasco, Pinellas, Habitat, they just merged, or they're merging with West Pasco. They're the second most active group in the country, which really says a lot too about the ability to procure land in particularly Pinellas County, right? I mean, how expensive and hard it is.
It is very hard.
So, no, it was fantastic. It was a good foundation, a good event, and I think we'll do a lot more with them.
That's good. Yeah, they do some good stuff around the area.
They do. It's awesome.
Yeah. So what is your favorite beer here, or do you have a couple? Or
well, typically when asked this question, I say Scotch.
Okay.
Right? No, but because you're around.
That?
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, some single malt Scotch. Look, you're just around it so often, right? So you're around it all the time. You're drinking it all the time. You're tasting. You're trying. My go-tos when we're in here are probably either key lime shandy or bay beer. Bay beer is a light lager we brewed. Started with as the 25th anniversary beer we brewed for the Lightning. Again, just something really sessionable that everyone can drink, right, and celebrate the Lightning's 25th anniversary. And the beer was so popular for us, we kept it around. And now it's got this name, Bay Beer, right? It's intended to be just an everyman's beer. It just happens to be local. So those are the two things, and really because they're light, they're sessionable. I can have a few of them. It's still, navigate a conversation.
Well, which one do you suggest for me?
Yeah.
Right
So,
now?
so I would start with. Why don't we just start closest to you? That's Bromosa.
This is Bromosa.
Yeah, it's
Ooh,
Bromosa.
you gotta try that
Okay.
one.
I'm not a mimosa guy, but I might be a Bromosa guy. We'll see.
I think the Soul Patch qualifies you as a Bromosa guy.
Does it?
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Man, that's good. You need to try this. You like that.
Oh, gosh.
I think. Here. I don't got any cooties.
You don't have the flu or anything? We're in the season.
I'm good. I'm good.
That smells
It's-
good.
Yeah. It's very citrusy. Very good.
Ooh,
Yeah, we
that is good.
everything
I
we do.
like it.
Yeah, we don't use any extracts. Everything's real purees.
Wow.
So we're, it's a great beer. Really proud of the team. Great.
It's amazing.
Been, received very well. We're really excited about it next year. I think it's a differentiator for us of product we don't have already. There are some other great beers out there. Some from Tampa, some from not, that are already kind of like that. But we think for us that's a real positive move for us as we evolve the brand.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
It does taste like a manly mimosa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still light like a mimosa.
It tastes
bubbly.
like tangerine. Or,
Yeah, tangerine.
Tangerine.
Yep.
Okay.
Ah, ooh, you
That's
got a
right.
good flavor
Yeah,
palette
tangerine.
there.
And the next one is the key lime shandy. So that
Key lime.
Ooh.
So this is what I'm drinking right now. This is what I'll drink first when it's in here. It's good. It's light, effervescence. You can drink it all year. Obviously, summertime is probably when it's most popular. Interesting fact is, Leinenkugel's shandy is only available year-round in 2 states, Florida and Texas.
Oh.
So, for us, we think this beer's got a lot of legs, especially for what you're talking about, right? The consumer that comes down, the tourist, it's winter up north and they're coming down here. They still want tropical winter.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? A Corona with the lime
Oh,
already
all
in it.
right.
Ooh.
There you go.
That's what it reminds me of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man.
Should we get
Here,
you your
you
own
want-
palette?
she wants-
No. We
Here.
need to keep having the sloppy seconds.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm not slopping. I'm not slopping.
You're fine. No, I've got to try. I love key lime, so
All right.
I'm a Florida girl through and through.
Same thing. Key lime puree, no extracts.
Ooh, that is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is so good.
Yeah, I don't know how you did it. Like it tastes like a lot
It
like a
does.
Corona with the lime already in it.
I love how light it is too.
Yeah,
it's
It's
light.
not heavy like
Very
some
good.
of the other beers. My husband drinks those, and I just can't get into this.
Sure. Yeah, I get it.
But that's delicious.
So the third one we got there for you is the Hurricane Party. That's the
Ooh.
watermelon cherry sour from Pasco, 4%. It's tart. Kind of Jolly Rancher-ish in its sugar qualities. No sugar in it, but it's got that kind of sweet while still being the traditional tart sour that we're going for.
right, let me,
Light, drink it all day.
yeah.
Let me try. I'm not so much of a cherry guy, but
We'll see what
we'll
happens.
see.
Oh my gosh! So you can come in here and buy like 6-packs or 4
Yeah,
packs,
4 packs.
or
Yep.
and bring them home. That's
Of course.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Very
actually
cool.
not bad. It is tart,
Yeah.
like you said, but it's not bad. This is almost like a wine. Like
Ooh.
kind of, yeah.
I think I'll move in here too.
I know, right?
Sorry, kids.
Jen's liking it.
Ooh, that is really good.
It's like a.
It does taste like a cherry.
Yeah. So that beer's, and the way to brew that beer is really cool. So, we start with, we have 4 mother cultures of different bacterial-based beers that we then blend back together to really produce whatever style whatever flavor profile we're going for. And then those cultures are living cultures. So we'll pull some from the culture, we add new fresh beer back into the culture, right? And so that propagates and grows the culture, and we get what we want. But that's what's happening in Pasco. So that beer, as we make it now, it takes about 6 to 8 weeks to make. Once we add the
cow.
fruit, the sugars start to reactivate, either more fermentation in the can or just general expansion of the can. So we have to let we need to let that mellow out before we can package the product, right? So it is all of 8 weeks once fruit is introduced. And again, it's real fruit puree. It's not extract. It's
Well, what I noticed
It
is
tastes fresh.
it's a clean aftertaste.
Yeah.
It's not like I find a lot with those beers that
Right.
it sticks with you.
Well, we always say this,
Yeah.
and it's interesting now that we're adding fruit to our products. I mean, I think show me a beer with 10 things added to it. One, someone's really enjoying because they like the sugar content, right? That's what they don't understand. So the consumer that drinks Bud Light, nothing against them, right? But when they come in and say, what's the lightest thing you have?
Yeah.
Well, what they don't really understand, the reason they drink Bud Light, what they like about Bud Light is the sugar content. They actually really should be having an oatmeal stout or something else. That's what they're really naturally gravitating towards. And they think they're scared away from that because they think it's dark, it's going to be like a coffee, or they're not really sure what to expect. But it's really the sugar. So, you show me a beer again with 10 things added on top of it, I'm going to show you probably it was a bad base beer. Wow. Anyone can take bad beer and add 100 things to it and make it really good. Right. Because it's just, with hazelnut spread, and I don't say this thinking of Brew Bus, I just literally was looking at their beer yesterday, so the first thing came to mind, that's actually a really solid beer. But anything with hazelnut spread is going to taste good, right? Now, I guess you could make bad beer and then bad spread, but those are things like the maple bacon porter. I'm not going after Funky Buddha, but again, you could have a bad beer and then just add a bunch of things on top of it and make it taste better. So we're really mindful of that as we do anything with additives here. When anything is not just beer, it's got to be the highest quality, and it's got to be less is more, right? Is a kind of important thing for us.
Yeah,
so,
that's good.
But be very clear, I'm not coming after those two beers.
No,
They're good.
They're
Those
good
sound
companies in their own right.
too,
Yeah.
so.
They're good beers.
Oh my gosh.
But
And the last one is Dunder. So that's 8.8%. It's intended to be a little more boozy. That's our holiday beer, Christmas beer.
Cute.
this is the Thunder.
Dunder, yep.
This
Dunder
is
and
Dunder?
Blixen.
Oh, the Dunder.
I love the reindeer logo
Yeah.
on the box too. So cute.
Yeah, that's a new
Dunder
design
and
for us.
Blitzen.
I'm super excited.
It's a perfect Secret Santa gift or
Yeah.
something. What do you think?
This is up my alley.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, no, yeah. That's right up
We
my
found
alley.
Rob's favorite.
That's good.
Ooh, that is
Spice
really
ale.
good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All of them
Yeah,
are
that's
so
definitely
good.
a winner kind of thing.
Oh, I can't
Paris
choose. They're
Lowe.
all so delicious.
So it's funny, when we started scaling that beer up behind us, right? I talked about the original, the second system we had in Pasco. Well, it was so poorly built that it would unintentionally scorch the grains inside the kettle. And so you'd get this really malty, like this natural caramelization that wasn't supposed to happen. It was just that our system was so bad. Mm-hmm. So it actually took us about 2 years to kind of dial it in to the bigger system behind you. it's not that we can't intentionally scorch the grains. It's just the system doesn't want to do that, right? So,
Yeah.
we really had to play with how we were configuring the brew process on that actual beer behind you and the brew schedule on what to do, times and temperatures, to extract that same malty characteristic that we think, maybe we were missing for a year. But then it wasn't until we realized, the recipe is exactly the same. It was just our equipment was so bad that we had these inadvertent taste characteristics that we had to then almost artificially build back in.
Oh my
with,
gosh.
again, doing things we normally wouldn't do
Yeah.
in the system behind us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you can put this one like right in front of me.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's awesome, LJ. Tell me quickly a little bit more about you. Did you grow up here?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Feather Sound.
Okay.
Grew up in Feather. I think I'm probably the only person, Pelham County, Olmerton Road being our real barrier, right? I grew up in Feather Sound and went to all school until high school in like South St. Pete, and I went to high school, went to Clearwater Central Catholic for 2 years, and graduated from Countryside.
Oh wow.
Left, went to college in Cleveland, came back, lived in DC for a little bit, came back, met my wife in DC, moved back with her. And, now my family, we're all living in Feather Sound. It's like everybody loves Raymond.
Yeah.
My parents are there, my sister's there with her family, and,
So do you rock a flow grown sticker on your truck? Or?
No. But,
Well, you really are Florida grown.
Yeah, absolutely.
Born and bred.
Yep, yeah,
Tampa area.
it's
Oh my gosh.
not as common as you guys know, right? But
Yeah.
my wife's from Homestead, so
Okay.
our son is Florida born.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, but she's from here, but
From
you
Homestead,
met her
met in DC.
in DC.
Yep.
Oh, what's the chance?
Yeah,
That's
we say all the time the things that had to happen for the two of us to meet are pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's
So,
crazy.
yeah. Funny, we met in the same congressional office, went on a date, which wasn't really supposed to do, right? Fraternizing with anyone below you, and I told the congressman, I think after our second date, we're getting married, and so I'm like, look, I wouldn't come to you. And we got married.
Oh
so,
my
yeah.
gosh.
Stars aligned,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
It was meant to be.
It was.
Yeah.
That is so
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so cool. Well, I'm going to throw a little lightning round at you.
Okay. Hold on.
You might want to prepare.
All right.
I
Whatever
think I
comes,
know the answers already.
Whatever comes to mind first. So we're in Clearwater. So I say Tampa, but when I say Tampa, I mean
Sure.
The whole
General,
area, yeah.
Pasco, Pinellas, Hillsborough, even Cape Coral. You can
Yep.
throw something in. All right, ready?
Go.
Okay, so Pinellas or Hillsborough?
Pinellas.
Okay. Clearwater or St. Pete?
Clearwater.
Okay. All right, Scotch or beer?
You're making these up.
Together in one.
There you go. There's your
Together.
next beer. Favorite pizza place in Tampa?
Mike's.
Mike's. Okay. That's just down the road,
That's our
right?
buddy, yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
cool. Okay. Favorite steak place in Tampa?
Oh. I don't know.
Please tell me you eat steak.
I mean, I do.
Don't ask us to eat steak.
Yeah, no, I do.
That was a bad question.
You know what's crazy? I feel like I'm a bad Tampanian. What do we
Yeah,
settle on
I
calling
think it
ourselves?
is Tampanian. Yeah.
Tampanian. But like,
Well,
I've
I
never
have
been
this
to
right.
Burns.
You haven't been to Burns?
No, I've never
and
been to
you-
Burns. I think I went to Charlie's once.
Oh my
Charlie's is good, though.
gosh.
You know,
Like-
honestly, I mean, I think this may sound ridiculous, but I'd have to say Island Way.
Okay. Island Way.
Any of
That's a
Frank's
new
places,
one.
he buys good protein, right? So,
Okay, yeah,
I mean, that's the most important thing. Is
Right.
we
Yeah.
find good meat. So,
You gotta have a good base.
yeah, it's good
to go
quality.
off of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Salt Rock. I'm sorry, not Island Way. Salt Rock.
Oh,
Salt
Salt Rock,
Salt
okay.
Rock. Yeah.
Salt Rock.
Yeah.
Okay, Salt Rock. What about Bucks, Lightning, or Rays?
Bucks.
Okay. Favorite burger in Tampa?
Oh.
Ah, got you there.
I don't think anyone was going to say this one. Biff's.
Ooh.
Biff Burger.
Biff
Biff
burger.
Burger.
Oh yeah, down in St. Pete. Never had Biff Burger. Actually, they're not St. Pete.
No.
They're I think they might be Pinellas. No, not Pinellas Park. Biff Burger. You got to go there.
Biff
It's like
Burger?
old school. Yeah, they've been like 1950s.
Oh, I'm going.
Most of it's outdoors.
Awesome.
They're good burgers.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
That's. I like to hear that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we don't have a ton of guests from this side of the peninsula, I guess. You
Yeah, I forgot my passport stamp. If you guys wanted, so I'll
This
take it.
bridge, yeah. I was
So you
gonna
guys
say,
can go back. Yeah,
You get a stamp.
yeah, I got you. I'll validate your toll.
Perfect.
good.
What's your favorite restaurant, like hands down, over here in like Clearwater or St. Pete? Anywhere over here?
Oh man, honestly, Salt Rock.
Okay.
You know, my wife and I always joke about, you know, she always like, when we go to Salt Rock, and it's a joke only because, one, we live farther away now.
Yeah.
But it's always a great quality meal. Again, great service. They carry our product.
I was gonna say they're a good client.
They're good. Yes, of course they are.
They're
They're
great
good
clients.
supporters. But it's again freshness, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come stone crab season, and that's our jam. We think they have the best sauce.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
that's our favorite place.
Well, I know where I'll be going this weekend.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna have to go over
Well,
there.
yeah. Well, cool. Well, thanks, LJ, for telling
Yeah.
us a little bit more about your
Absolutely,
brewery
guys.
and.
About yourself and about
Yeah.
that amazing story about how you met your wife and
Yeah.
I know, that's so special.
Yeah.
how that
Oh my
happened.
God.
That's pretty cool.
And these amazing beers, they're
Oh, you
delicious.
forgot to ask the favorite dessert place.
Oh, well, I figured you might say your ice cream.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
I appreciate the setup there.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely our ice cream,
Yeah.
our beer floats or our beer inspired ice cream. So we'll take the ice cream, take the beer, boil out the alcohol, add in some ganache, and we'll have a wave maker inspired or a tropic pressure inspired ice cream.
Nice.
So kids can have it because
There's no alcohol in it.
alcohol.
Yeah,
It's
alcohol's
just
been completely
weird
burned out. Yep.
Taste.
Yeah.
Oh my
Not
gosh.
that kids have that palate yet.
Right. No. There's
Still.
no alcohol in it at all. You're burning it all out. That's definitely I think my favorite dessert.
Yeah.
Oh well,
Yeah.
I can't wait to try that.
I know. Yeah. We'll be
Where's
trying
the
all of
ice cream?
this for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thank you so much again.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.
We're
Appreciate
excited
coming
to
in.
showcase your business.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
Make sure you all tune in if you're watching or listening to the video we put up about Big Storm Brewing.
Yeah, a lot of
Brewing-
it will actually
brewing
be
company.
throughout this. But if
Yeah.
you're listening, you want to check out the video.
Yeah.
So
Well,
how are we
let's
looking
move
on
on to
time?
our next segment. We're good. We've got a great non-Florida man story.
Oh yeah.
Again,
All right.
You
we're
don't
just-
know what it is, and that's by design.
Okay.
Because we want your authentic reaction to it. Actually, I think it's audio.
What do we have here today? So our non-Florida man story, if you haven't listened, it's just basically a play on the Florida man. We get such, flack here in Florida for all of our crazy news stories.
Sure.
So we're trying to showcase the rest of the crazies in the country and
Okay.
across the world, really.
That's right. They're everywhere, people. They're not
Deflect
just
a
here in
little bit.
Florida. If you've been paying attention to our other podcasts, you'll quickly realize it's everywhere. Even England, right? We had a couple from England.
Yeah, we had one from
An intruder finds himself
There you
trapped
go.
inside a Salina home. The sheriff's office says this man, Jamie Sanders, strapped himself to an inversion table and yelled for help when he could not get out. Sanders was taken to the hospital to be checked for possible drug use. He was arrested for aggravated burglary after officers say he took a bottle of cranberry juice from the house.
Okay, so
Wait, someone broke into the house, assumedly high on intoxicants,
possibly.
stole cranberry juice, strapped himself to the inversion table, and couldn't get out.
Well, yeah. So this happened in Salina, Kansas. Okay, so this is Kansas man.
Oh,
all right?
Kansas man.
This did happen a little while ago, but I had to use it because how often are you gonna hear about
We are
Kansas?
talking breaking
Uh-oh.
news at this hour.
Hold on.
Firefighters
Oh, we
are
got some
still on the
breaking
scene of a
news, too, in
building fire in
Kansas.
East.
They're still trying to give me news over here.
Oh my
So-
God.
Apparently he went in there, he strapped him, he saw this inversion table, and he decided to see if he could do sit-ups. Well, apparently he couldn't do sit-ups. So he got stuck, and he couldn't get himself out. And that's what he
You ever
was
used
yelling
an
for
inversion
help.
table?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had
There's a couple times you start panicking, right? You're like, uh-oh.
Well, I mean, immediately
Yeah.
you get the rush of blood to your head, and
Yeah.
it's, if he was on anything, obviously that probably intensified things.
Oh my
I would
God.
imagine, but yeah.
What are you guys doing on inversion tables? What are you doing?
It stretches
What
your
do you
back.
think? Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not doing sit-ups on an inversion table, but I just stretch my back.
Oh
I gotta get those 2 or 3 inches any way I can,
Yeah, well, it's hard to get yourself out, especially
Yeah.
if you're like totally upside down.
Oh my God, that
But
sounds
I
stressful.
used to use them. I used to actually do sit-ups on them, but
Oh my
I used
God.
to use it for my back as well.
Yeah.
But this guy obviously thought he was.
He was confused.
Apparently, he's like, "Oh, look at that! It's
Oh
a
my
ride.
God.
We'll go upside down."
Bless his heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's especially
Guys-
kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
and
do
it wasn't
have
in
Kansas.
Florida.
Exactly. Oh my God.
Please take note.
I love it. Well, thanks, Rob, for finding that. So let's move in quickly to our main topic, which we thought it would be great to talk about, just like the craft
whole scene.
beer
Yeah.
scene. Is it craft beer or craft brew? I don't know.
Well, it's
The beer
the craft
scene.
beer scene and
Sure.
the whole greater Tampa area.
Yeah.
Sure.
Is underrated, to say the least. I think a lot of people don't realize it.
Yeah.
That the biggest scene is here in Tampa. In
No,
Florida.
I think there's something uniquely, so I think there's something uniquely pessimistic about our local view on our own beer, right? And I think that is maybe that's not unique to everywhere, but I find that, especially here in Tampa Bay, we never give ourselves credit for the great things we do. And you go around the state, there is without a doubt, the best beer in Florida is coming from Tampa Bay right now. And competition is pushing that, right? So the things that people could get away with 3 to 5 years ago, you're not in business anymore. You're out, right? The bad beer people could sell 3 to 5 years ago. You're seeing breweries right now that are questioning, why am I not doing well? Because your beer is garbage. It's been garbage. And, you for a few years, 5 years ago, that was okay. Now people know better. The consumer's educated, right? So I don't think there's a doubt that Tampa Bay is the best beer in Florida. And more importantly than that, right, is that Florida beer is competing with other states and other regions. Look, we're 20 years behind, some other parts of the country, if not more, right? At least 20 years behind California, at least.
Wow.
And that's if you say just comparing the more successful breweries in California to like a Cigar City or a Dunedin. I mean, those guys, right? And Dunedin's got 10 years, 5 years on us, right?
Yeah.
So,
it's wild.
yeah, of course. But the beer scene is strong, very strong. And I think we're putting out the best beer as a region we've ever put out.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
There's
your
so many
your reach
options.
is far greater than what most craft beer, what we consider craft beer in the area is.
right.
Especially if you're reaching all the way to the Northeast,
Sure.
Texas and whatnot. A lot of them aren't. I
Right.
mean, Cigar City does,
Yep.
obviously, because they have a partnership.
Sure.
But maybe Angry Chair? Do they have I think they have a kind of far reach. I think I've seen them somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's. I was taking like step ladders, right? So there's some brilliance and flexibility that comes with being smaller than where we are today, right? I remember talking to Nathan Stonecipher from Green Bench one time about their optimal plan, and I'm not sure if they've exceeded where they really kind of wanted to cap out at. But his original idea to me was we're going to get to a certain barrelage, certain volume, because that'll pay the bills. And then from that to the next step is the ceiling. But the next step, we're going to brew high profit margin, really special beers, distribute them to special bottle shops around the country. So like the craft beer place in Manhattan, right? A place that's like hard to get into, but it's the place to be. It's funny. I was at my bachelor party was in New Orleans. There's an amazing bottle shop there. I found more special one-offs from Green Bench there than I'd ever seen in Tampa Bay.
Wow.
But that was their plan, right? Because they're like,
Right.
we're going to produce this much, we're going to sell this much, and that's it. And when it's out, it's out. You're never going to get it again. So certainly there is some flexibility on when you're smaller, right?
Right.
But yeah, really, I am super enthusiastic about where the quality is going. I think it's going to start to be a little more competitive, though, in the context of the illusion of this kumbaya relationship. I mean, we're all still competing for taps. If any of us think we're going to go take Bud Light off or Budweiser or Mick Ultra, that's delusional.
Well,
right?
you have in my book. I mean, I look past those taps all the time.
Well, sure, and that's fantastic to hear, right? But let's just still, in Florida, 97% of consumers still don't drink craft beer, right?
Too, though, like a lot of the specials, I go to a lot of different bars and stuff like that, and there's specials. Yesterday, I think it was at, it was either Bar Louie or Whiskey Cake. I was at both of them yesterday, but they had like $1.95 happy hour special for tap, beer. But it was Coors Light, Bud Light.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you compete on that, right? So you either they're buying such high margin, they're getting their costs down and keeping their margins the same, or making more money. It's not. I would tell you, we've been approaching those things over time, and we say no. I don't want my product selling that low.
No, I
right?
mean,
Because we also have the
it's a
delicate
fire
balance,
sale.
right? Between typically, I think most bars we won't consider this a competition, right? But the more tap rooms we open, the more we are going to become competition. And so we have to balance with what we're pricing to consumers in our shops and what other people are pricing their consumers. So now it goes the other way, right? Now if they're buying beer from my distributor and they're willing to reduce their margin to a certain price just to sell through the beer, but they're underselling what we're selling the beer for in here, well, now they're my competition as well. So, a lot of those we just don't want to participate in because I think it erodes our margins here. It erodes our future profitability and value proposition. Up until recently, we kind of had, with great pride, that we were the price leader in a lot of our houses.
Oh, wow.
And some things have changed where that's not so much the case anymore. Not by anything we're doing. It's really distributors increasing their margin and leveling the playing field where everyone should kind of be at the same price. But, look, I think it costs what it costs to run a business. And then, more importantly, what you do to the brand when you erode your value. Because now the beer's $2, right? If you do or don't drink those 2 beers, but you know that you can go there and happy hour and get it for $2, are you going to stay when happy hour is over? Are you going to stay and buy that beer for $5 or $6? No.
Right.
You're probably going to try something else, number one. And number two, now in your mind, that value is set. It's no longer a $5 beer. It's now always a less than $5 beer, or on an average a less than $5 beer, right? And that's the big issue that we talk about all the time here.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I didn't get the $2 beer.
Yeah.
I got actually a local beer. It wasn't
Sure.
It wasn't Big Storm, but it was a local. Well,
Way to go, Rob.
it was only
He could have at
because
least lied to me.
I know.
He could have been like, I had
That one. That's what I ordered.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, I have bought your beer at Publix before and have had it and enjoyed it, and I do like the Big Storm. I believe the one I had, and I want to say it was Coppertail, I think, but it was only because the gentleman I was with ordered it. I said,
Man,
I'll
you're not going to get any complaints from me if the
Yeah.
craft beer you're drinking is from Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
again, rising tide lifts all boats to a strong degree. So
It's all good. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, even though you're competition,
yeah.
you're kind of supporting each other in a weird way.
Well, the
scene
Yeah,
is here,
the whole
the
industry.
excitement.
Yeah. So it's super interesting, even in the hierarchy, right, of like relationships. So again, I think if it's not us, then drink Tampa Bay, right? But as we go after tap handles, there's even a hierarchy of really what is our competition. So I would say the smaller guys with limited self-distribution or only hyper-local distribution. I mean, there certainly are competitors because we're always competing for a tap, but that's almost in a different category of local. So now you've got local, you've got hyper-local, you've got hyper-local, right? I don't mean that to be pejorative, but the smaller brewery that is only distributing in a 5 to 10 mile radius. Well, the same reason I probably won't get that tap, right? For the same reason when that now the things that local Tampa Bay breweries have done to Sweetwaters, Lagunitas, Oscar Blues, and those guys, like they've now taken those taps because they're not hyper local anymore. They're still craft. So they're still within the acceptable level on a lot of people's minds of, okay, well, I can buy that product. But in the hierarchy, it's like, well, first I'm going to go my hyper local, then my local, then my regional local, then go. And then the very bottom of the list is, well, okay, if I have to have a Sam Adams Boston Lager, I will. Which is crazy. Think about that. And how far we've come to where Sam Adams is, there's certainly a friend of all of ours, right? But that's like the last thing you'll drink. And then after, it's like, okay, fine, give me a PBR, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, everybody has their go-to beer,
Sure.
just in case you're at a party or whatever,
Yeah.
you go somewhere out of town or whatever that, you don't know the beers or whatever.
Right.
Mine is Yuengling. That's my go-to.
That's my go-to.
Is it really
100%.
great?
Yeah, and so that was our that's without Yuengling, there's no Big Storm.
Right.
So the founder was a student at USF. Mike was a student at USF, and he would take the tours at Yuengling all the time because they had the free beer at the end.
Oh yeah.
And by the end of a tenure there, the tour guy would just see Mike coming in. And he's like, "We just want to give the tour," and Mike would just give the tours,
Oh
right?
my
So that's
God.
where our flagship beer, Wave Maker, was an amber ale. Was kind of a take on what Yuengling was doing, but I don't say modernized, but differentiated, right? But still inspired by Yuengling.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like with Big Storm, not only are you trying to you're trying to find that balance between exclusive and inclusive. It's and it's exclusive in the way that it's regional, it's
Right.
craft, but it's inclusive that you're trying to, find something for everybody.
Yeah, of course. Look, I again in Florida, 97% of the people do not drink craft beer in Florida. Okay, now, I don't know who comes up with this poll, but that's the number we've all kind of agreed is accurate.
Okay.
You know, we can continue to make beer for the 3%. We can fight over the 3%, or we can go convert and try to grow a bigger pie,
Right.
and try to take pieces of other people's pie. And I think, you know, if you come in here and say you don't like any of our beer, then, you know, with all due respect, you came in saying you're not going to like any of our beer. If you can't
Right.
find a single thing here you like, then I don't know,
you'll
go
find
drink
something
go
you
drink
like.
something else, because you're
Yeah.
not being open minded. You're really just don't. You were coming in with pre-decided what you were going to say, and if you can't find a few things you like, well then, you know, please let me know, because we're not doing something right. You know,
Yeah. Well,
again, it's if nothing else, it's just good business, right? Why would you cater to the 3%?
Right.
Include them, do some things for them, but cater to the 97%.
Right.
So,
Try to get more
yeah.
people.
Yeah, from a business standpoint,
Educated
it
about
makes sense.
craft
beer,
and
so-
for what you're trying to do and build a, you know, a much bigger business. Did we discuss the future plans? Or-
Oh no! Well, yeah. Why don't we wrap up with, you know, what are your future
Sure.
plans for Big Storm Brewing?
Yeah, so you know, we are in the process right now of doing due diligence in at least 3 more tap rooms for next year.
Wow.
So we have some LOIs out. We have redlined leases going back and forth.
Awesome.
You know, we really want to own the own premise space, right? So by law in Florida, we're allowed to have 8 facilities that we can transfer beer in out of. So this becomes the center of a wheel, and then we, you know, the spokes that go out to each
Yeah.
facility. So now, you know, Wave Maker making that here as opposed to making it as all of our other places, it's just so much more cost effective to make it here, send it out to those locations. So we anticipate by the middle of 2021, we'll have our 8 locations. We'll be maxed out.
Wow.
We'll be asking the state to change that. But, you know, out-of-state distribution is a big push for us next year. So as long as it's with, you know, people that believe in relationship building and doing business a certain way. And, you know, I think lastly, there's maybe some horizontal brand expansion, right? So Big Storm, you know, when we did a poll or a survey internally a few months ago, you know, it was, what are we, right? So give me 3 things you think about. Give me the first thing you think about when you think about Big Storm, and overwhelming, all of our employees all said the same thing. Quality was number 1, right? So what are other like products in a homogeneous production cycle or homogeneous sales cycle or sales process that we can manufacture here and expand our brand, right? So coffee to me is such a natural one, right? You know, roasting the beans is times and temperatures like making beer. Then when we extract the water through the beans in our process that we do here, which is different than most people. Again, it's on manufacturing, canning. We can all day, right? Why barbecue? Times and temperatures, right?
Right.
Why ice cream? Because we have a lot of families that come here, right? So I mean, I think there's gonna be a lot of things you'll see in the next probably 18, 24 months that we're willing to stamp our name to,
Wow.
because it's what we're doing is a commitment to quality. It might not be the biggest business in the space. It might be very small. It might be de minimis and simply service our own locations. But, you know, the more things that we think we can do in a conveyor belt style that fit onto what we're doing, let's do them. So as long as they're value add and they continue to have the same quality that we demand from our beer.
And your partnerships too. Like
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm super excited about this one, man. These guys, Chris and Dax Hoover, super cool story. You know, and you go back 5 years, 6 years ago, right? It didn't even matter what the liquid was. Tell me the story, right?
Right,
Now,
yeah.
we're really fortunate that the Hoovers just have great liquid as well in their Bloody
Yeah.
Mary mix, but their story is awesome. So,
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
finding someone who these brothers that their only focus right now is growing the business as fast and with as quality control as they can is
Very
really
cool.
is really cool for us.
Yeah, I like
Wow.
the picture. I don't know.
Yeah,
And
Blood Brothers is
but
the
For
next.
anyone who's
we'll
not
see
watching,
It. We'll show it.
Yeah,
it's a premium Bloody Mary mix.
yeah, Blood Brothers by Mary. It's
And they're here locally.
yep, out of Clearwater. So we're gonna work. The value add from us to them is really some sales experience, some capital, you know, distribution and manufacturing expertise. So super excited.
Awesome.
Yeah, we got
Wonderful.
we got to go talk to them guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, that'd be
If I ever
awesome.
leave here, I don't know.
I know.
We might have them come here. 'Cause
Visit
we do
Robin's
that.
You said
Remote.
you did all this for families with ice cream and everything,
Absolutely.
but it feels
Oh
like
my
you did it for me.
gosh.
Oh yeah, you know, and the last piece. I mean, speaking of families, really is actual on-premise expansion, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, we're in about 2,500 square feet in this tasting room, and you know, maybe it's poor planning, but we just never thought we'd sell what we're selling here.
That's
It's
awesome.
not uncommon on a Friday to not have a seat,
Yeah.
And you see groups of 10 walk in and walk out because they can't find a place to park or just sit. I'm
It
sorry.
is a good problem to
And
have,
it is,
I guess,
and it makes you want to cry, right? Because I'm counting the heads and the dollar amounts per head. So
Yeah.
we're about to add somewhere between 5,000 to 7,000 more square feet of consumption. Some covered, some not.
Nice.
We're really excited, right? So we'll keep investing in this part of the community. We think we are centrally located in all of Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
There's no reason for people not to come over the bridge. We're 25 minutes, 30 minutes.
Right.
And if you're in other parts of Tampa Bay, you're already going that far anyways, right? So, it's okay.
Get your passports.
That's
and
it.
cross
Come on
the
over.
bridge. Come over.
And when they build
It's
that,
worth it.
That's right. When they build that new pass that's going over, that'll be helpful too, right? They're going to dump you off right there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Gandy. So, we're excited to keep investing in this part of the community.
Yeah,
That's really
that's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool. Like if you had, see, this is here. I'm good. I'm
Free
good with
idea?
your marketing. Yeah, free
Right.
idea. This is no cost. You have a shuttle, like a little shuttle bus that goes to the shuttle that crosses the bay,
Yeah.
and boom,
Oh,
bring
the
them
ferry?
over. Yeah, the ferry.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, bring them over. Maybe every
That's a good
twice a
idea.
week
Sure.
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring
Good
them
idea.
over for lunch.
Love
I
it.
like it.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Business,
and
business
give them
advice for
give
y'all.
them some ones on the way over.
There you go.
Whatever. Give 'em-
I
give 'em a
like
little,
it. There we go.
Yeah, lubricated
We
before
got
they
another
get here.
business, line of business there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, cool. Well, thank you again, LJ.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.
Where can people
Yes.
find, not only where can they buy your products,
Yep.
but also where can they find you on like social media?
Sure. So you can find our products, ABCs, Total Wines, Lucan Liquors, select Publixes. Most places that sell alcohol will have some presence there.
Okay.
On premise bars and restaurants throughout Tampa Bay, you'll usually find something of us.
Okay.
Coffee is a young company for us, so beans are only available right now in our tap rooms or through our website. The cold brew cans are available at all of our tap rooms, as well as select Raceways and I should know what other accounts, but primarily the Raceway chains.
A lot of places.
Yeah. And Bloody Mary Mix, again, small business. Lucan Liquors carries all 3 brands that they have, 3 flavors they have. It's going to soon we'll have it available here as well in all of our tap rooms. But look, if you want anything, the easiest thing I say is someone come to one of our tap rooms and we should have it for you. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then social media, it's at Big Storm Brewing, and I'm at LJ Govoni.
Okay. Big Storm Brewing and at LJ Govoni. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, LJ.
Thanks, guys.
This is
Make
awesome.
sure y'all tune in to the video for the behind the scenes, and make sure y'all come in to Big Storm Brewing.
Yes.
You are not missing out. This really is the best beer.
I
I've
love
had in
beer.
Tampa, so
Thanks,
If you
guys.
love beer, ice cream, barbecue, you got to be
there
here.
you go.
It's only one place.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for
Thanks, guys.
watching. Thanks for listening. Bye.